The next feature is the organization structure. This important feature allows us to take the real organization structure and configure it in Sphinx. In this way, we can set different departments of staff, of personnel, and give them different access level. Different access level means that different personnel will be able to go through different doors during different times. We can set for each department sub-departments. For example, we have a department for the New York head office. Inside it, we can set R&D sub-department, human resource sub-department, financial sub-department, and so on. We can decide that the different personnel of each one of the departments will be able to access the doors through different periods of time, meaning through different timetables. In here, we can create new departments or new sub-departments, delete all departments, or edit existing departments' details. For example, we can edit the R&D department and set department manager, remarks, and department name. If we are pointing all departments and clicking new department, it will create another sister department. For example, a department in Barcelona. On the other hand, if we point on the New York head office and create a new department, then it will create another sub-department. Different sub-departments can have even sub-departments to the sub-departments. The next icon is the access level. When we click it, the following window will be opened. The access level tab shows us that this department, the New York head office department, has the following access level in the different doors. This means that, for example, all the staff, all the personnel which are in the New York head office department cannot enter any of the doors. If we would like to allow them to enter, for example, entry door number 1 during the working timetable, then we need to select it here. This might not be the best way to set access level, but this is another option. The main option will be demonstrated later. The next tab is the personal PIN enabled. This allows us to indicate in which doors the cardholder, the personnel, can open the door using the PIN only. This means that the user will enter 8-digit PIN, keying it to the keypad reader, and this will open the door without the need to flash any card. Lift access level and time and attendance LCD display will be discussed in special chapters. If the Apply to Department Personnel checkbox is checked, it means that the configuration, the access level, will apply to all existing personnel, all existing cardholders in the department, and not only to future cardholders in the department. If the Include Sub-Department Personnel is also checked, is also ticked, then the configured access level will apply to all existing personnel, all existing cardholders in the sub-departments, and not only for the future personnel in those sub-departments. For each department, we can set the time and attendance definitions, the time and attendance policy. For every department, we will set the regular working time, which means what are the hours, the expected hours each day that the personnel of this department should come to the office, and what is the expected hour that the personnel of this department should leave the office. We can see here that the New York head office personnel is expected to arrive at 9 in the morning and leave at 6 in the evening. The late-in allowance indicates the number of minutes that we allow our personnel, our staff, to come late to the office without reporting it as a late arrival. For example, if we enter 10 minutes, then we allow our personnel in the New York head office to arrive before 9 and 10 minutes in the morning without being reported as arriving late. In a similar way, the early out allowance is indicating by how many minutes we allow our staff, our personnel, to leave the office early. For example, if we put 10 minutes, then the staff of this department can leave up to 10 minutes before 6 without Sphinx 4 reporting for the early out. First in will be rounded means that if it is ticked, then a staff can be late by 10 minutes, but it will be still considered as if he arrived at 9 in the morning when counting his working hours during this month in the time and attendance report. In a similar way, the last out will be rounded, means that if a staff is leaving not earlier than 10 minutes ahead of time, it will be still counted as if he left at 6 for his total working hours in the time and attendance report. Apply overtime for over than certain minutes means that only if the personnel has worked more than, for example, 30 minutes, we will apply his overtime and count this overtime in the total working hours. Otherwise, it will not be counted. The cutoff point or lunch break is indicating how many minutes we would like to deduct from the personnel working time on a certain day for the lunch break or any other break he might take. If we want to include his lunch break on the total working hours and not to deduct anything, we should keep it as 0. The overtime policy can be one of 3 options. The first one is late out only, meaning only the time he stayed after the regular out time. The other option is late out plus early in, meaning we also count the time that he came before the regular in time to the office. The third option is the total working hours that he worked minus the regular working hours which we have defined in here. For counting the total working hours, we have 2 options. The last out minus first in minus lunch break if there is any, meaning we do not care for all the in-outs that he was doing during the day. The other option is counting every out and in the staff, the personnel has during the day. So we count the intervals of out 1 minus in 1 plus out 2 minus in 2 and so on minus the lunch break.